Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here and thank you for all of your support so far. I really appreciate it, so thank you. So today's video is gonna be slightly different. I'm gonna share an experience that I had. I don't fully understand it. I'm not sure if I'm meant to, but I thought I'd share it with you anyway, and see if anyone else has had a similar experience. So I was in a meditation and I feel like I was just going deep. Like I feel like I'm doing some deep chakra work at the moment, and I kind of got lost in it all. Like the mind was still fast and racing, and then it's like I heard. Well, I had been hearing on a lot of YouTube videos and just some reels, like, you know, new doors are opening. And I'm like, okay, new doors are opening. That's fine. Let's go with that. And I guess expecting to see, from hearing that, I guess I was expecting to see not so much doors opening, but opportunities coming in externally, in my external reality. But when I was in this meditation, and I heard these like internal doors opening, and I think it was only 3 or 4 times I heard that throughout this meditation, and it was wild. It was like I hear the door open, and then my mind's racing, all these thoughts happening very quick. It was like quick mental processing that was happening, or what was going on. It was very quick. I'm aware, I'm consciously aware it's happening. I am interacting. It's like something else was going on, something else had taken over. So I don't know if this was like higher self or higher mind, but it was very, very quick. And it was like sifting and sorting through lots of images and lots of like, in my mind I'm saying things quite quickly. Yeah, I want that, I don't want that, this, that, and there was a lot going on like that. And in the process of that happening, I was also finding myself like bringing love in where I needed to, forgiveness, I'm saying I'm sorry. So I'm working through something, I don't know what, but my mind was racing, like all this processing happening very quickly. I don't know if it's happening quickly because it gets the ego out of the way. I don't know, I'm not too sure what's going on there with that. So the door would open and then the mental thing would happen very quickly, all of this happening. And then every now and then it would freeze on a moment, an image, and then it would like shift my mind into somewhere else. Like I'm here with this, doing this image shows up, and then it's like my mind into another space or place. And that started off, I guess, a bit slow, and then the same thing happened. And this happened throughout the meditation. So my experience with that was there was these internal doors that were opening, and I'm still doing this here, but it was all, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing a door open with a bit of a creak. You're hearing the handle, the like, the sound, all of the sound, everything, you know, the way a door would open and what you would hear, and yeah, and then that would happen. Freezing in a moment, and then into another space, and then all this mental processing happening very quickly. And certain words would pop out as well. So at the time this was happening, it was like in my mind I'm going through something, and the word that popped out and stood out was I conform. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute, I don't conform. Like, what's this? What's going on? And then I had this realization that, oh, I'm reading my contract, like my soul contract. It just came in as this was a terms and conditions. It was like I was reading the agreement in my mind. And when this awareness came in, I was like, well, hang on a minute, no, I don't. And then I ended up visualizing the contract and tearing it down the middle, like tearing it up. But also within this meditation, I was seeing a lot of random stuff, but also just like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was almost like I was doing all that stuff there and tearing up the contract, but also like I was speaking to all of the beings that exist, and it was like this is one big cycle of karma. It was weird. It was like saying, look, we're all one. We all share each other's DNA. We're all connected. Why are we fighting? Why are we trying to be better than? Why are we not sharing? You know, what can this? It was just like, what can, you know, what with your experience here and what you've learned and how you've evolved in terms of being a different species. So, for instance, I don't know, let's take reptilian. You know, why can't? It was like I was explaining the benefit of sharing that and how that can help each species out there. It's like if we all came together, we all work together, we all share what we know, our knowledge, our wisdom. How is that helping lift and helping all species evolve? We're all in this together. And the way I see it is that we don't, in terms of ascension, spiritually speaking, we're all in this together, and I don't see that the expansion and the evolution happens unless we're all doing it. And to some degree we are, just at different states or different places in that journey. But it's coming back to, I guess, the false matrix and everything we've been hearing around the false matrix and everything that's going on in the world, the patterns, the cycles, the karmic cycles we're in. But it was almost like it was not just here on Earth, it's everywhere, in every species, going through the same thing, or are contributing, or have contributed to where we're at. And that's not saying, you know, that's not pushing the blame out there and saying it was more of it's like a generational thing. So whatever our parents don't work through, they form the shadow that we stand in, and then from there we create our own shadow. And this is where we then start learning our belief systems and the conditioning. Obviously it happens, you know, it happens slightly different, but what I mean is unresolved. If you have any unresolved, I don't even know what the right word is, I'm going to say the word issues for the lack of a better word. Anything that's unresolved in you, it's still running a program, it's still running on a condition, a lack of. There's still going to be belief systems and worries and doubts and fears, all of this running in the background, which forms a shadow that then you cast onto someone else. Let's say you cast, you is your shadow, someone else can be in your shadow. And in terms of parents and children, whatever that shadow might be or look like, it's like you have that shadow, then someone else is standing in, and then that's from there that child creates more of their shadows, more of their wounds, whether that be I'm being too much, or no one wants to listen to me, whatever it is as a child that you might think of or go through in terms of the shadow when we're creating. I'm going to say creating these shadows because we're not born necessarily with all of the shadows. Yes, we can be born with karma, but I'm going off a bit off topic. Yeah, so it was like I was seeing, and just I was speaking to everything and everyone. It was weird. and just explain it. Like, it's like I was just explaining, like, the benefit of working together and finding balance and unity and coherence in balance, because it was like, without the balance, we're going to still be all over the place. Meaning, and I got into thinking about the Earth as well. It's like the Earth is on a spin on an axis, right? So what if that's because we're unbalanced? So we collectively, through being imbalanced, have put the Earth into that into the axis and into that spin. So if we balance it out, what happens if you balance it out? The Earth, does it move? Can it come back into its straight? Well, I say straight, but can it move and spin on different axes? Can it be on this side and go on, like? So it was just weird, and I was just thinking about that, and then thinking about the poles and how the poles are shifting. What does that actually mean? If it's spinning one way, the poles, I don't even know how it all fully works. Actually, let's not go into that. But yeah, it was just like the balance, the yin and yang, and the reflection. If we could shift our perspective to see everyone not only as equals, but as a mirror. What's being reflected back? What are you seeing? What is this person reflecting back to you? Something about yourself. So, everyone will be triggered. Everyone can get triggered by other people, and these triggers can be golden nuggets if we learn to work with them. But yeah, ultimately, what is being reflected back to you? And people will, if we're looking at it in terms of being mirrored, then people can mirror you back in what you might call a good way or positive way, all the things you like, but also there's going to be things that you don't like. So what is happening, what's going on, and if we find that balance, and we can look at maybe seeing it like that. I'm not saying you have to go out in the world and be like, okay, this person's reflecting something back. No, but it's just an observation, it's an awareness. Is something being reflected back to me? What can I learn from this experience? Asking some different questions, but also seeing the good in people. Where am I going with this? It was like, I don't know how to. I'm trying to explain it the best I can, so bear with me. It was almost like, actually, I saw two people. It was a line, actually, of people that were stood in front of each other, and they're working in a way of balance, that yin and yang, masculine, feminine. They're showing this person's reflecting this person's shadow, this person's reflecting this person's shadow, but also this person's reflecting this person's light, and this person's reflecting this person's light. So there was the balance of light and dark, or shadow, whatever you want to call it. And it's finding the balance in that energetically. What can that do? What does that look like? And what would that mean for us collectively? Is kind of just where this went, and into a lot more, but I'm not going to share all of that because that's a bit much. So I guess this video was really supposed to be about these internal doors. As I take this journey and I go on this journey a bit further and deeper, it's like everything is internal. And then I'm like, well, I've always been I say always been, since coming into spirituality, it's learning your external is a reflection of the internal. So I'm like, okay, so all of this work that I am doing is very internal, and the more I do it, the more I realise just how internal it is. And then I'm also like, well, at some point, does the external reality catch up with the changes and shifts happening internally? Like, what's going on with that? Like, I don't know. I just wanted to share this with you in terms of these internal doors. Now, at first when it happened, I thought, my mind went to, okay, am I going into something or somewhere, and am I making, like, at first I thought it was like I'm making a deal, like going through these internal doors, making these deals or signing agreements and whatnot, but then coming back to the contract, it was like, okay, this is an agreement, it's a contract, and I tore it up. Whether it's a sole contract or not, I still don't know. I don't know if I'm meant to know, but I just wanted to share that with you. And has anyone else had an experience like that? And if you have, drop a comment. Let's connect. Internal doors, because the video was going to be internal doors, internal contracts, but I don't know, because even as I reflect on it now and in days to come, it's going to change anyway, my perspective on that. But it was just quite an experience. I don't think, it felt familiar wherever I was, or the energy in the space I was in, it did feel familiar. And it comes back to the awakening and remembering. What am I remembering? And then I question, am I remembering? Or am I just tapped in to other timelines? Like, I don't know what's going on with all of this. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today. If anyone's had a similar experience, for me, it was just hearing the doors open. This came after the flashes that I mentioned in my previous video. I think it was the day after I had the flashes, or it could have been the same day. And I went into this, I got deep into this meditative place, and yeah, all of this very quick mental processing was happening. These doors are opening, it would freeze, and then all of this other stuff would go on. It was like, I don't know, sections or levels, or each door represented something else. And I'm just questioning now, actually, just thinking about that. In religion, they talk of it as the 7 scrolls? Is that correct? Which is referencing the 7 chakras. And each one, you'll have to look it up. Each one represents something different. But yeah, anyway, let's stop there, because I can go on all day about this theory, that theory. But yeah, that's what I want to share, to see if anyone else has had a similar experience. If you have, then yeah, drop a comment and let me know. Thank you very much for being here and watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you feel called to, then feel free to leave a donation. I'll put everything in the description box below. Have a great day.